Welcome back, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in American history, the 1995 P. Roosevelt dime. Also commonly referred to as the 1995 P. Liberty dime, this little 10-cent piece might look ordinary, but believe me, it has a story to tell. From its proud presidential origins to its secret value in the collector's market, we're going to unpack everything you need to know. So sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and let's uncover the hidden tale of the 1995 P. Roosevelt dime. The dime, a coin worth just 10 cents, has held a powerful position in American coinage ever since it became a tribute to a president whose legacy shaped the very foundation of the modern United States. Let's take a step back in time. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, a year after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Roosevelt wasn't just a wartime leader, he was a polio survivor and a key supporter of the March of Dimes, a campaign dedicated to fighting polio and improving child health. In honor of his tireless work, Congress replaced the Mercury dime with the Roosevelt dime. Designed by John R. Sinek, the dime features Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse side. His strong, determined expression was meant to symbolize strength and progress. On the reverse, we see the torch, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left for peace and an oak branch on the right for strength and independence. Since then, the Roosevelt dime has become a fixture of American pockets, piggy banks, and coin jars. Fast forward to 1995, and the Roosevelt dime was still going strong. In that year, the Philadelphia Mint struck a massive number of dimes, over 1.3 billion to be exact, and each one proudly bears the tiny letter P just above the date, indicating its origin from the city of brotherly love. At first glance, the 1995 P dime might look like any other coin. But the collector's world knows better. Why? Because condition, rarity, and historical connection make even the smallest coin a potential treasure. Let's break it down. Most 1995 P dimes found in circulation are just that, circulated. They've been passed from hand to hand for nearly 30 years. These coins typically show signs of wear and are only worth their face value, 10 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. If you happen to have a 1995 P Roosevelt dime that is uncirculated or even in mint state condition, then congratulations, you're looking at a coin that could be worth much more than its humble denomination. Coins graded MS-65, that's mint state 65, can sell for around 18 to 25 cents, depending on eye appeal and the quality of the strike. Not bad for a coin you might have received in change at a gas station. Now, here's the golden ticket coins that receive even higher grades like MS-67 or MS-68, especially those with strong luster and clean surfaces, can bring in several dollars or more at auctions. Yes, you heard that right. 10-cent coins selling for $5 to $20 just because of their pristine condition. And if your 1995 P dime has what's known as full bands, then things get even more exciting. Full bands refers to the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse side of the coin. When those bands are fully struck and clearly separated, it means the coin was made with an especially strong and detailed strike. Full bands are considered a premium feature, and collectors love them. A 1995 P Roosevelt dime and MS-67 full bands can sell for $30, $50, or even higher depending on demand. These coins are not easy to find, and they reflect both technical quality and rarity. Recent auction results show that some of the best condition 1995 P dimes, those slabbed and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, have sold for well over $100 in top condition, especially with the full bands designation. So yes, while 99.9% of 1995 P dimes are only worth 10 cents, that 0.1% can be worth hundreds. It all comes down to condition and those elusive full bands. Now you might be asking, how can I tell if my 1995 P dime is valuable? Great question. Here are a few tips. Look at the reverse under a magnifying glass. Can you clearly see the horizontal bands on the torch? Are they distinct and unbroken? If yes, that's full bands. Mint state coins should shine. If it looks dull and scratched, it's likely circulated. A coin free from contact marks is a premium coin. The fewer the blemishes, the higher the value. If you think your dime is in pristine condition, consider sending it in to a grading service. A graded MS67 Plus coin with full bands can significantly increase your return if you ever choose to sell. The 1995 Roosevelt dime is a great reminder that value isn't always about age, it's about rarity and quality. You don't need a coin from the 1800s to find something worth collecting or selling. Even a dime from the 1990s can be a hidden gem in your pocket change. So before you toss that next dime into the coin jar, take a closer look. You might be holding a miniature treasure, especially if it's a 1995 P with full bands and a dazzling shine. That's the magic of numismatics, where history, art, and a little bit of mystery all come together in the palm of your hand. So what are you waiting for? Go check your coin jar, look in your drawers, and examine those pocket finds. You never know, your next dime might be worth a whole lot more than you think. Thank you for joining us on this detailed journey into the 1995 Roosevelt dime. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin content, and drop a comment below telling us what rare coins you've found. Until next time, happy collecting, because sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest stories. Would you like a thumbnail and title idea for this video too? My dear coin collectors and treasure hunters! Now in Second History, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of a small yet powerful piece of American history, the 1982 Roosevelt dime. A coin that millions of people pass by without a second glance, yet it holds a story, a legacy, and in some cases, a surprising value. You might think it's just 10 cents, but wait until you hear what makes the 1982 dime stand out and why it could be worth a whole lot more. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's unlock the secrets of this little silver soldier. Let's begin with the roots. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just 1 year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the only U.S. president to serve 4 terms. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II earned him a place in the hearts of Americans, and his personal battle with polio made him the face of the March of Dimes campaign. It was only fitting that the dime 10 cents, the very coin that powered the March of Dimes, would carry his image. Designed by John R. Sinek, the obverse of the coin features a left-facing profile of Roosevelt, while the reverse displays a flaming torch representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch for strength and independence. Now let's zoom ahead to 1982, the year this particular Roosevelt dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. It was a year of economic shifts, changing policies, and challenges in U.S. coin production. What makes 1982 unique in the numismatic world is the significant shift in coin minting technology and material composition during the early 80s. Here's where it gets really interesting. In 1982, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of dimes, yet unlike coins from Denver and San Francisco, Philadelphia had only recently begun to include a mint mark. Before 1980, Philadelphia coins didn't carry a P. But starting in 1980, the P mint mark began appearing on coins, making the 1982 P dime one of the early adopters of this new practice. The total mintage for the 1982 P dime was over 546 million coins. That's a big number. But don't let it fool you, there's more to the story. While most 1982 P dimes are common in circulated condition and worth just their face value, collectors know that the real gems are hiding in the details: grade, condition, rarity, and strike quality. Coins that have survived the past 4 decades without scratches, bag marks, or were incredibly desirable in the collecting community. A regular circulated 1982 P Roosevelt dime might sell for about 10 to 24 cents in today's market. Not much, right? But let's talk about the upper tiers. Uncirculated examples in MS65 condition or better can fetch significantly more. We're talking between $5 and $25 for an MS65, $50 to $150 for MS67, and potentially much more if the coin exhibits sharp strike features like full bands. Now, what are full bands? It's a grading designation that applies to the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse side. If the bands are fully separated and show no merging or blurring, it suggests a strong, high-quality strike. Collectors go wild for full-band dimes because they represent top-tier craftsmanship from the mint. A 1982 P dime with full bands in mint state 67 or higher can sometimes reach auction prices well above $200. In perfect MS-68 condition, with full bands and eye appeal, the price can climb even higher. But there's more errors. Yes, the 1982 P Roosevelt dime is also known to have error coins. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, and clipped planchets are just some of the variations that can dramatically increase value. Imagine holding a small silver dime in your hand and realizing it could be worth 100 times its face value because of a small minting mistake. That's the thrill of coin hunting. For collectors, the hunt for a pristine 1982 P dime isn't just about the money, it's about completing a collection, finding that elusive high-grade specimen, and holding a piece of American history in your palm. The beauty of this coin lies in its simplicity. No flashy design changes. No wild experimental alas. Just a solid, dependable dime that has stood the test of time and continues to capture the interest of collectors worldwide. So what's the current market telling us? As of now, the average circulated 1982 P dime is valued around 10 to 24 cents depending on condition. But certified mint state coins graded by PCGS or NGC have a very different story. MS-66 examples regularly go for $30 to $50. MS-67 and full bands can push that number far higher, sometimes surpassing $100 to $300 in auction environments. Keep in mind, coin values depend on many factors: rarity, demand, strike, preservation, eye appeal, and more. And as time passes, pristine examples of older coins become increasingly difficult to find, which means, yes, you guessed it, potential future value increases. Did you know President Roosevelt was never actually photographed using a wheelchair during his presidency? Despite being partially paralyzed by polio, he maintained a strong public image. The dime bearing his face symbolizes not just his leadership, but also the American spirit of perseverance. So there you have it. The 1982 P Roosevelt dime, small in size, rich in history. A coin that you might find in your pocket change, your grandmother's coin jar, or hiding in a drawer. Take a closer look, because what appears to be just 10 cents could be a hidden treasure. Before you go searching, remember to like this video, subscribe for more awesome coin content, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment in the world of numismatics. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting! Now, in Next History, we're diving deep into a tiny yet fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1985 P1 dime Liberty coin. It's small, it's sleek, and yes, it might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change right now. But did you know that this little dime could be worth far more than 10 cents? Some are selling for much higher than face value, and rare mint state examples have collectors searching feverishly across the country. Let's turn back the clock to the mid-1980s. The year is 1985. Ronald Reagan is President of the United States, the Cold War is intensifying, and pop culture is exploding with icons like Madonna, Michael Jackson, and the Back to the Future trilogy. Meanwhile, in the heart of Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint is striking millions of dimes coins that will travel through pockets, purses, vending machines, and cash registers across the nation. Among them is our coin of focus, the 1985 P Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime, as a tribute to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Not only was Roosevelt a revered leader, but he was also a symbol of hope for Americans suffering through the Great Depression and World War II. Most importantly, he was a staunch advocate for the March of Dimes, an organization created to fight polio, the very disease he battled throughout his life. The obverse of the 1985 P dime features a strong left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, designed by U.S. Mint chief engraver John R. Sinek. Around his head, you'll see the word Liberty on the left, the motto "I in God We Trust" below the chin, the date 1985 near the neckline, and the all-important P Mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint right next to the date. On the reverse, we see a torch in the center symbolizing liberty. It is flanked by an olive branch on the left, representing peace, and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing strength and independence. Encircling the design are the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 dime. Now, let's talk mintage and production. In 1985, the Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 973 million Roosevelt dimes with the P Mint mark. That's nearly a billion coins, so it's safe to say this dime was mass-produced. But don't let the high mintage fool you. There's more to this coin than meets the eye. Most 1985 P dimes you'll find in change are circulated, worn, and worth only face value. But if you find one in uncirculated, mint state condition, especially MS65 or higher, you're in for a treat. Coins graded MS65 can be worth around 20 cents to a few dollars, depending on quality. That's already double or more its face value. But here's where it gets exciting. Examples graded MS68 with full bands, those perfectly struck horizontal lines on the torch, can sell for over $300 or more at auction. Yes, you heard that right. The term full bands, or FB, refers to the clarity of the horizontal bands on the torch. In high-grade coins, these bands are fully separated and sharply defined, indicating a near-perfect strike. Such coins are extremely rare due to the wear and tear of the dies used during mass production. To maximize the value of your 1985 P dime, grading is key. Third-party graders like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on factors like strike, luster, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. While lower-grade coins are common, finding that elusive MS68 full bands is like finding a needle in a haystack, but one made of silver and gold. Let's take a look at some recent sales. On eBay and in collector forums, 1985 P Roosevelt dimes in gem mint condition have sold for $10, $30, and even $75, depending on their strike and certification. Rare error coins such as off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or die cracks can fetch hundreds of dollars depending on severity and visibility. One dramatic off-center 1985 P dime sold for over $250 to a collector fascinated by minting errors. So, should you be saving your 1985 P Roosevelt dimes? Absolutely, if they're in great condition. Look for strong details, minimal wear, and of course, those coveted full bands. Even if you're just starting out in coin collecting, these coins are easy to find, affordable, and make a great entry point into the fascinating world of numismatics. Here's what to do next. Dig into your coin jars, your drawers, even the vending machine change if you're lucky. Examine your 1985 dimes closely. If you think you've found one in exceptional shape, consider submitting it to a grading service. Who knows, you might be holding a miniature masterpiece worth far more than 10 cents. To the casual eye, it's just a dime. But to collectors, historians, and dreamers, it's a piece of American heritage. The 1985 P Roosevelt dime is a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Thanks for joining us on this numismatic journey. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin stories, and drop a comment below. Have you found a rare 1985 P dime? What's your favorite Roosevelt dime in your collection? Let us know. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your next dime be the one worth a fortune. My dear coin lovers, history buffs, and treasure hunters, if you have a handful of spare change lying around, you might just be sitting on a tiny silver-colored fortune without even knowing it. Now we're diving deep into the world of the 1994 P Liberty dime, a small yet significant piece of American currency that's often overlooked. This coin may only be 10 cents on the surface, but its value, history, and collectability make it a fascinating part of United States coinage. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be reaching for your coin jar and searching for a hidden gem worth far more than face value. Let's start with a bit of background. The 1994 P Roosevelt dime is part of the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946. This was the year following the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the most respected leaders in American history. His image was chosen to appear on the dime not only because of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, but also because of his significant connection to the fight against polio. Roosevelt helped inspire and promote the March of Dimes, a campaign to raise money to fight polio and develop a vaccine. To honor his legacy, the U.S. Mint replaced the winged Liberty Head dime, also known as the Mercury dime, with the Roosevelt dime in 1946. Since then, the dime has carried his image and remains one of the most widely circulated coins in the United States. Fast forward to the year 1994. America was in a period of economic growth and cultural change. It was also the year that millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins carry the P Mint mark, which can be found just above the date on the coin's obverse the front side, right next to Roosevelt's neckline. Now, let's break down the details of this coin. The 1994 P Roosevelt dime is composed of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, which gives it its distinct silver appearance. The coin weighs 2.27 grams and has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters with a reeded edge. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, the mint mark P, and the year 1994. The reverse of the coin shows a lit torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace on the left and an oak branch for strength on the right. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1.46 billion with a B of these dimes in 1994. Because of this massive production run, most 1994 P Roosevelt dimes are extremely common in circulated condition and can still be found in change today. But here's where things get really interesting. While most of these coins are only worth their face value of 10 cents, there are some exceptional examples that are worth much more. And when we say much more, we mean it. Certain high-grade coins, especially those with what numismatists call full torch bands, can fetch serious money from collectors. The full bands designation refers to the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse of the coin being fully struck and distinct, with no flat spots. This level of detail only appears on coins with superior strikes and minimal wear, usually from uncirculated rolls or proof sets. Coins with the full bands designation are rarer and can command premiums on the collector's market. So, what's the market value of a 1994 P Roosevelt dime today? As of right now, most circulated 1994 P dimes are worth just 10 cents. However, uncirculated examples graded MS65 and higher by grading services such as PCGS or NGC can be worth much more. A typical 1994 P dime in MS65 condition might sell for around 22 cents. And while that may not seem like a lot, that's more than double its face value, and that's just the beginning. If you come across a 1994 P dime graded MS67 with full bands, the value can jump significantly. Some rare examples in pristine condition have sold at auction for $100 or more, especially when they have perfect luster, a strong strike, and no blemishes. In fact, one of the highest graded 1994 P dimes with full torch bands ever sold fetched a price of nearly $250. And here's a fascinating fact: collectors are often willing to pay a premium for coins that help them complete a high-grade registry set. That means a perfect 1994 P dime in mint state with full details could be the final piece someone needs, and that drives prices up even further. But there's even more to look out for: errors and varieties. Error coins from 1994 are uncommon, but when they do appear, they can be valuable. Examples include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverses, and clipped planchets. These minting mistakes are sought after by specialists and can increase the value of a common coin dramatically, sometimes pushing it into the hundreds of dollars. So, the next time you check your pocket change, take a closer look at those dimes. That 1994 P dime you almost dropped in the vending machine could be hiding a premium value, especially if it's uncirculated, has full torch bands, or is a rare error coin. To wrap things up, the 1994 P Roosevelt dime may seem ordinary, but it's a reminder that history and hidden value often lie in the smallest places. With over 1.4 billion of these coins produced, they are everywhere, but finding one in perfect condition or with a rare error can make all the difference. So keep your eyes peeled, check your change, and maybe even dust off that old coin jar in your closet. You never know, that dime could be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more numismatic deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next coin that might be worth a small fortune. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have a 1994 Roosevelt dime? Have you found one with full bands? We'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, even the tiniest coin can carry a giant history. Have you ever looked down at a simple coin in your pocket and wondered if it could be worth more than just spare change? What if I told you that a tiny 10-cent piece could hold the story of a president, a war, and even a potential hidden value far beyond its face? Welcome, collectors and coin lovers, to another deep dive treasure hunt. Today, we're focusing on the 1999 D1 dime Liberty coin, one that may seem ordinary at first glance, but beneath the surface lies a rich history and intriguing value that you might not expect. This is the Roosevelt dime. A symbol of courage, of leadership, and a tribute to a man who guided America through some of its darkest hours, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. His face has graced the dime since 1946, 1 year after his death, as a way to honor his legacy and his connection to the March of Dimes, the campaign to end polio, a disease he personally battled for most of his life. The March of Dimes campaign was a nationwide movement, urging people to send in just a dime, 10 cents, to support the research needed to fight polio. And people did. By the millions. So, in a beautiful act of remembrance, the dime became the medium that carried FDR's legacy, both in name and in design. But today, we zoom in on one particular dime in this long-running series, the 1999 D. Roosevelt dime. Minted in Denver, Colorado, this coin might seem like just another pocket filler, but let's peel back the layers and see why collectors still keep their eyes open for this one. On the obverse side, the front, you'll see Roosevelt's proud profile facing left. The word Liberty runs boldly along the left edge. Just beneath Roosevelt's chin is the phrase "In God We Trust," a constant reminder of American values. And below that, the mint year, 1999. Flip it over to the reverse, and you're greeted with the classic torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on one side and an oak branch on the other. These symbols are powerful. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch peace, and the oak branch strength. Together, they're a trio of what the United States strives to be. Now, the D mint mark you see on this coin. That tells us this dime was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most active mints in U.S. history. In 1999, the Denver Mint produced over 1.3 billion Roosevelt dimes. Yes, billion. So naturally, many of these dimes entered circulation and still remain in drawers, jars, and wallets across the country. So, with so many made, what makes the 1999 D dime special? Why is it worth talking about? Let's get into the value. In the open market today, the 1999 D Roosevelt dime holds a value of approximately 16 cents when in average circulated condition. That's a little over face value, not life-changing, right? But here's the twist: coin collecting isn't just about face value. It's about condition, rarity, and errors. If your 1999 D dime is in mint state condition, specifically graded as MS65 or higher, it can fetch higher values, often ranging from $1 to $5 or more, depending on the buyer and the market at the time. While that may not sound massive, remember, this is a 10-cent coin. That's a 10x to 50x return. And if your dime features something called full bands, a detail on the torch that signifies an especially strong strike, you're looking at even more. Full bands indicate the horizontal lines across the torch are well separated and sharply defined. Collectors prize this level of detail because it means the coin was struck with precision and care. But that's not all. Error coins can be worth serious money. If you find a 1999 D dime with a misstrike, off-center error, or die crack, the value can skyrocket. Some rare errors have sold for hundreds of dollars depending on severity and collector demand. Imagine holding one of those ultra-rare era coins, something that passed through the powerful machines of the US Mint with a tiny mistake that made it worth a small fortune. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, treasure can be hiding in plain sight. That unassuming dime in your change might be a rare find waiting to be discovered. So, let's recap what we've learned today. The 1999 Roosevelt dime features President FDR, a man who inspired a nation. It was minted in Denver, with over 1.3 billion coins struck. In average condition, it's worth about 16 cents, just over face value. In uncirculated, mint state condition, it can reach $1 to $5 or more. Look for full bands or rare minting errors, those can multiply the value significantly. And that's the real magic of coins like the 1999 dime. They aren't just currency, they're history, art, and mystery wrapped into one tiny disc of metal. The next time you get change from a store, don't just toss it aside. Look closely. Inspect the year. Search for the mint mark. Because your next great discovery might already be in your pocket. Thanks for joining us today on this journey through American coinage. If you love stories of hidden value, historical treasures, and coins worth more than meets the eye, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment with your favorite coin find. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next dime be a diamond in disguise. My dear fellows, again back to the channel where we explore the hidden stories and surprising values of everyday pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that you might just find in your own wallet or piggy bank, the 2000p Liberty 1 dime from the United States. But don't let its small size fool you. This little piece of metal has a fascinating backstory. Some versions are worth more than you might think, and it holds a special place in American coin history. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's get into the full story, value, and collecting power of the 2000p Roosevelt dime. Let's start at the beginning. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, replacing the mercury dime. Why the sudden switch? Well, that year marked the passing of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only U.S. president elected to 4 terms. Not only was he a giant in world history, but he was also the face behind the March of Dimes campaign, a movement that raised money to fight polio, a disease he personally battled. In honor of his legacy, the U.S. Mint decided to place Roosevelt's image on the dime. And thus, the Roosevelt dime was born, forever tying the smallest circulating coin in U.S. currency to one of its most impactful leaders. The dime's design was created by John R. Sinek, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. On the obverse side, we see a profile of President Roosevelt facing left. Inscribed around the coin are the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, the year of minting, and the mint mark. On the reverse side, the imagery is symbolic and powerful, a lit torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left, symbolizing peace, and an oak branch on the right, representing strength and independence. Above the torch is the national motto E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. Now, fast forward to the year 2000. The year 2000 marked the dawn of a new millennium. While people were celebrating Y2K survival and the rise of technology, the U.S. Mint continued its tradition of producing billions of Roosevelt dimes to meet the demands of commerce. And that brings us to our star, the 2000p Roosevelt dime. The P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, which struck over 1.8 billion Roosevelt dimes in the year 2000. That's right, over 1.8 billion. That means this coin is one of the most common Roosevelt dimes in existence. But before you toss it aside thinking it's worthless, wait just a moment. There's more to the story. Although billions were made, condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. A regular circulated 2000p Roosevelt dime might only be worth its face value, just 10 cents. But if you find one in uncirculated condition or with special attributes, it could be worth much more. Coins that have been carefully preserved and never spent are known as mint state or MS coins. A 2000p Roosevelt dime graded MS65, meaning it's in nearly perfect condition, can sell for around $1 to $2. Higher grades, like MS67 or MS68, are more difficult to find and can command values of $10 to $25 or more depending on the coin market and demand from collectors. And here's where things get interesting. If your 2000p dime has a full bands designation, also known as FB, it could be worth significantly more. Full bands refers to the horizontal lines on the torch on the reverse side of the coin. A strong strike with clearly defined and separated bands is rare, especially for dimes from the Philadelphia Mint. Coins with full bands in high grade can sometimes fetch $50, $75, or even more, depending on demand and market conditions. So let's break down the current market value for the 2000p Roosevelt dime in today's world. Circulated condition: 10 cents face value. Uncirculated MS60 MS64, 12 cents to $0.50 MS65, $1 to $2.00 MS67, $10 to $25.00 MS68, $50 or more very rare with full bands designation, $25 to $100 plus depending on condition. Now here's something every coin collector dreams of: errors and varieties. Sometimes, mistakes happen at the mint. While there are no famous errors widely known for the 2000p dime, it's always worth checking for off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled dies, or missing elements. These rare minting anomalies can increase a coin's value exponentially. A dramatic error could make a simple dime worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, so the next time you're going through your spare change, keep a sharp eye on those dimes. That 2000p Roosevelt dime might be common, but if it's in high grade or features an error, it could be worth a surprising amount of money. And now, let's talk about the collectability. The Roosevelt dime series is one of the longest running and most collected series in U.S. coin history. Many collectors aim to complete a full set from 1946 to the present day, with one coin from each year and mint location. If you're working on your Roosevelt dime set, the 2000p is a must-have. It's not a rare coin, but it's an essential piece of American coinage, a piece of history from the dawn of a new millennium. And if you find one in top-notch condition, you've got something special on your hands. So there you have it, the full story behind the 2000p Liberty One dime. It's small, it's silver-toned, and it might just be worth more than you think. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin content, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a hidden treasure in your pocket. Have you found a 2000p dime in amazing condition? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting!